Okay, so I just have way too many thoughts on Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, and specifically the Women's World title that I just need to get out of my head. All these different like fantasy booking scenarios, and different permutations and how different things affect what different women are going to be doing at Mania and thereafter. Okay, so I just had to get this out of my head. I think we all kind of collectively know and agree that the two most likely matches are either Rhea and Bianca, or Rhea versus Liv versus Io. I think we're all in agreement of that, right? And both those matches make sense. Rhea versus Bianca is like The Rock versus Austin of women's wrestling. Two top baby faces who have been kept apart for years, successfully. It's the biggest women's match they can do, yeah? And Rhea versus Liv versus Io is just the culmination of the past 12 months of Raw storylines, yeah? It's like they are the women's main event scene. It's those three. They've been carrying women's wrestling on Raw, having great matches with each other, always in each other's orbit. It's the most logical, natural progression of current storylines around the world title, right? But how do we get there, and what are the implications for what everyone else is going to do, right? Well, firstly, I think some things are going to be universally true no matter what. Bailey and Roxy are probably facing each other at Stand and Deliver, so they're going to cancel each other out in the chamber. Alexa just kind of doesn't make sense in this world title scene. She's only just back. She hasn't interacted with Rhea. She's probably going to be doing Wyatt stuff. And maybe I'll get to what I think she could be doing at Mania in one of these permutations. Naomi, I think in every permutation, is going to be doing something with Jade. I think Naomi is going to be revealed to have attacked Jade. And yeah, so in any permutation, I think she's doing something with Jade at Mania. But yeah, so I think, let's say Bianca wins. She just wins, right? So that means on Monday Night Raw, Io loses the match with Rhea. But she loses valiantly. They have a banger match like the tag match on Monday, right? And speaking of tag matches, I think what that then leads to for Io is tag match with Dakota so Damage Control versus Judgment Day for the women's tag titles at Mania. That makes a lot of sense, right? That means you still get Liv and Io on the card. Io, let's say she gets a big win, everyone's very happy, people aren't disappointed that she's not in the match. Same with Dakota. Dakota's been pushed as like a babyface who just hasn't been able to get that title, but then she has this great moment with Io. And what I think that can then lead to in the future is a Damage Control breakup. So this makes a lot of sense, right? Because you have Asuka and Kairi returning and being like, hey, the tag titles were kind of our thing. But also when you think about it, Asuka and Io never got along. The only reason Asuka's in Damage Control is because she's friends with Kairi. Io and Asuka hated each other. They hated each other before Io invited Kairi to join Damage Control. Asuka and Kairi, they have their own little friendship. And they maybe don't like what's been going on without them, yeah? So I think that could lead to a split where they fight over the tag titles. I think that makes sense, yeah? And then you end up with, Naomi versus Jade. I think this does leave a couple of holes, though, because then what does Alexa do at Mania? Is it Alexa versus Chelsea Green for the US title? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the other option then, which is, I'm going to say it's my preferred option. Io, Liv, and Rhea. It's my preferred option, and I'll say it's my preferred option solely because Bianca and Rhea are so heavily involved in other storylines at the moment that maybe they could book like a great storyline in the next 3 weeks or whatever, but just for now, they are not focused on each other at all. Bianca should be so distracted by what's going on with Jade, right? How can she focus on Rhea? It just doesn't feel right. But I don't know, maybe that's costs her the match. Maybe that's an intentional part of the storyline. But anyway, let's focus on, let's say we get the triple threat, Liv winning Chamber. If Liv's winning Chamber, I think that tells you Jade is showing up at Chamber. She's entering the Chamber. She's knocking Naomi the fuck out. Maybe she takes Bianca out too. I don't know. But either way, that causes at least such a distraction that Bianca gets taken out by surprise and Liv wins. But then what happens on Monday? Liv is a smart cookie. Out of Rhea and Io, who's she going to want to face at Mania? The one who has consistently physically overpowered her, who she can never beat clean, or the one who she has beaten clean? You know, she has beaten a few times, both clean and not clean. She's going to want to face Io. She's done with Rhea. She doesn't want to face Rhea again, and she doesn't want Rhea getting a WrestleMania moment. She'll take every opportunity to screw her over. She's going to interfere in the match, and we're going to see Io win the title on Monday. But not clean. But it's not by her own choosing that this win isn't clean, yeah? She's going to look back, see the footage, and be like, oh no. I mean, I am champion. I've earned this. But Rhea did right by me when she accidentally cost me the shot at Elimination Chamber. She gave me this opportunity. She's my friend. I respect her. I don't want her having her Mania moment taken away from her unfairly. Like, yes, I won. I am champion. I deserve to be champion. But I don't want any doubts that I needed someone to interfere for me to win. No. In fact, I will refuse to go to Mania unless Rhea gets added to this match. So she'll demand Rhea get added to the match and it becomes a triple threat. I think that makes the most sense. A lot of people are saying, what if Liv just causes like a double DQ or something, no contest due, or for some reason interferes and costs Io the win, which I don't think makes sense. I don't think Io has enough credit to cash in to say, like, yeah, I do deserve a shot at Mania, even if that happens, right? I think if Io gets into the match, she gets in as champion. Because Rhea can just be like, hey, that title was taken off me unfairly, rematch clause, or whatever. She's Rhea fucking Ripley. Is anybody in any doubt that she deserves to be at Mania, right? She has a lot of claim to that title. It's her baby, right? Yeah. So I think if it's a triple threat, it's going to be with Io as champion. And so what are then the other permutations of what everybody else is doing? I think that then, maybe this is how Alexa Bliss gets on the card. We end up with, before Mania, Bliss Cross Applesauce winning the tag titles off of Judgment Day. Yeah. And then maybe they're in the women's tag match at Mania against someone else. I think that makes a lot of sense. The Wyatts end up getting the tag titles. Wyatts versus Judgment Day can be like a mini thing. Maybe. I know they're on different brands, but, it's the tag titles. They're on every brand. But yes, that we would then have a triple threat. Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. Get all three of them on the show against each other. Jade, Bianca could be innocent, but Bianca could be a heel. But either way, maybe Jade is at least suspicious of her or just feels betrayed that she put her aside for Naomi, even though that's not how it is from Bianca's perspective, right? Jade could be like the tweener in this. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But who comes out of these matches as champion? Well, one of the things that I really want to happen in this whole next year for Rhea Ripley, Strapley. We all want it. Like, come on. The Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley winning the women's tag titles. If that's going to happen, I think that makes sense for neither of them to be singles champion. Like, for them to win the tag titles together, I don't think either of them should be a singles champion when that happens. So maybe that's how you get there. Maybe Bianca defeats Rhea at Mania. It doesn't have to happen at Mania. She can lose elsewhere. But let's say that happens. They both lose their titles at Mania. I do think the triple threat makes the most sense as a mechanism for Rhea to lose her title, right? Because it wouldn't be her title, then it would be Io's. But Io actually retains because Liv and Rhea are so still focused on each other, still so hateful of each other that they kind of forget about Io, and she's able to squeak out a shock win over both of them, yeah? And then that then sets up a titleless Rhea and a titleless Tiffany to go after the tag titles together and give us the Strapley we all want. Yeah, think about it.